And hello and welcome everyone to the Comic Multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. Matt, it's Sunday night. We're back again with all of our friends here simulcasting on both Twitch and YouTube for your convenience.
Yes, we are. And hopefully it's working because I was having trouble with the multi-stream before. For some reason it
Oh,
wasn't initializing. I'm sure it's working.
oh, don't worry, Matt. It's the internet. I'm sure if we fuck up or do something wrong, people will tell us all about it.
Yeah.
As Cosmic Reject brings up in the chat, who's the one lonely homie on Twitch?
I think there's more people on Twitch. It just doesn't update it as much as
Uh,
YouTube does.
well, if you're watching on Twitch, I see you, I hear you, you are valid. Just want to get that out of the way right now. So how has your week been, Matt?
It was pretty good. It was a lot of stuff happening this week, just in terms of stuff coming out, just from not comic books. Then there's like TV shows and video
Oh,
games and
yes.
stuff. We had the second season of Tiger King.
Yes, which I swore I wasn't gonna watch, and then I ended up watching like half of it anyway.
It was a lot different than that first season, but it was
Very
still filled with like all the
ridiculousness,
ridiculous shit and scumminess and everything. It was good.
jaw
I
dropping,
enjoyed it.
like jaw dropping. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Obviously, the problem with making a second season of Tiger King is you don't have the Tiger King Joe Exotic because
No.
he's still in fucking jail.
Yeah, but he might be. It's possible he could get out.
The show posits that yes, maybe someone might be able to do something for him at some point to either get paid or make a name for themselves. That was my big takeaway from it. Season 1 of Tiger King is like, look at all these weirdos that exist in the exotic animal world and watch them fuck each other over and try and become stars. And the second season is look all the people who are trying to make money off the first season of Tiger
Yeah,
King and trying to become
and just being
stars.
so fucking shameless about it.
Oh yeah.
Like to the point where like it's like they've got to realize that like they're like being made fun of.
Oh yeah, the point where I think even like the camera crew itself, like they couldn't even handle it anymore,
Yeah.
is the bit where we get introduced to the Christian psychic detective.
I fucking love that family's like they've gone down every avenue they can
Yep.
to try and find out what happened to like their father and their
Mm,
ex-husband and everything. It's like, well, what do we do now? It's we'll go to some like con man
yeah,
psychic who will like
with a YouTube
make up
channel.
shit straight away.
Like literally, you might as well just light shit on fire at that point. You might as well just throw your money into the breeze.
Yeah.
Louise saying there in the chat, anyone get Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes? I did. That's what I've been playing this week.
I'm thinking of this week. I might have to buy one of them. I'm not sure which one yet though.
I got Pearl, so if you want to get Diamond, we can switch back and forth for the ones we're missing.
Nice.
Here's the thing, after playing Sword and Shield, which I loved because it was the first Pokemon game I'd played in years since the Game Boy, and I'm like, man, they streamline this and make it so easy. I can delete and remember moves whenever I want. There's a beautiful, tapestry of Pokemon I can get, even fully evolved ones that you'd normally have to trade for.
Hmm.
Going back to this remake, they're like, oh, no, this is a very traditional remake, so we've locked a bunch of features that you had in Shield, and I'm like, oh, so you guys went a little backwards to try
No.
and make it a real remake. Okay, that's fine. You can get all the starters though, apparently in the post game.
Oh, that's good.
I always love that feature. When Yellow did it, I'm a big fan of being able to get all of them because it's so hard to pick just one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that open world one that's coming out in
Arceus.
January. That one looks pretty cool.
Yeah, where they're like, "Hey, we like Pokemon here at the Nintendo company, and we like Breath of the Wild. What if we smush them together?"
Yeah, it looks really cool.
It does, and it looks a little closer to Shield, so that's
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Also, too, I figure in a year where we've had some of the worst, most disastrous attempts at remakes, it's nice to have a remake that was actually pretty good and pretty, solid.
Had some money put behind it, some
And
care.
didn't, yeah, that didn't burst into flames instantly. I am so glad that I did not buy that.
I'm so glad I didn't buy the GTA remasters either. They looked like they fooled you. They fooled you.
Yeah,
They
they
released
really
all those
did.
like heavily edited pictures and
Hmm.
everything, and it's nothing like that in the game.
Such a shame. Again, a real blemish on Rockstar's image. Like, they used to be one of those companies that was beyond reproach because they're like, we promise we will give you this much quality, but between that and them endlessly milking GTA Online. It's like, I don't know about you guys, you Hauser dudes.
Well, no, I don't think they're actually there anymore. The like Dan
No, that's
Houser
right.
and
I
his
guess they're
brother.
not.
I think they left after Red Dead Redemption 2 was done.
Right.
Which was
Spend
like
more
the
time with
last
their
like
money.
great thing they did.
Yeah, I guess you got to leave to spend more time with your money. They were weird recluses too. Like, I think no pictures of them exist online.
Yeah, they never turned up at like E3s or anything like
Never
that.
did interviews.
No.
Yeah, that's really fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, they're Scottish, I think. But you wouldn't know.
No, well, that's the thing. Maybe everything we know about them is false, and it's all just like fake actors and stuff.
It could be. It's the greatest Andy Kaufman bit ever. I finished Arcane this week while we're talking about video games. The Riot series based on League of Legends. Knew jack shit about League of Legends going in. I think I enjoyed it more because I had no idea who became what and where any of it was going.
Nice, that's cool. That's like the complete opposite reaction I had to the Cowboy Bebop series that dropped this week.
I haven't started that yet, but I plan to.
It's because I really fucking love the anime, and I watched the show, and I'm like, you tried too hard. You tried too hard.
I've probably rewatched Cowboy Bebop more than just about any other anime show because, like, what was it? Toonami played it for like 15 years.
Oh, yeah, it was heavily, like, syndicated.
And also, too, it's kind of a show that almost, demands you rewatch it in many ways because so much of it is still mysterious and vague. And a lot of people are like, well, do you think, Spike, what happened to him at the end? What was the course of events between him and Vicious and Julia? What does any of this mean, we think?
That's the thing. The show, the live action kind of takes that mystery away because we get, like, huge sects of, like, especially in the last couple of episodes, like, huge sects are just set in the past where he's fearless and vicious and there's Julia and all this stuff with them. I'm like, you really took away the mystery.
Again, like a film noir thing, it was, part of the mystery about it, which, here's the thing, I'm definitely going to watch it, but I'm going to recruit someone to watch it with me who has never seen the anime, so I want to, like, see it through their eyes and see what they think.
Tell you what, though, Mustafa Shakir as Jet Black is fucking perfect.
He looked really
like he sounds
good.
exactly like he does in the anime and acts like he does in the anime. He's so good.
I feel like a lot of people forget that too, that Jet in the anime is actually voiced by a black man.
Yeah.
In the English version, at least. How is the music? Because that's the other thing about Bebop as a show. Music was such a huge, massive part of it. Real folk, blues, all those other great songs.
Yeah. It's all there.
Oh, is it really? So they didn't even try. They actually got. They got
the woman who did the original music for the anime to do all the music for the show. The what's her name? Yoko Kanno.
Yeah, Yoko Kanno. That's the one.
Yeah, she does the music for the entire show.
Well, that's how you got to do it then, because Yoko Kanno really is like the other main character in Bebop.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm happy to hear that, actually. Now, here's the question. Will they adapt the movie? Will they keep adapting the show if it's popular? Or will they just say, screw it and do Samurai Champloo next?
The show actually opens with the opening of the movie, the casino heist.
Fuck, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then it cuts to the start of the actual TV show, which is that flashback.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because, again, the movie was another one of those things where it's like the movie talks about dreams a lot and dream imagery. So, like, did it really happen? Where do you place it in the show? Is the movie the dream Spike has after what happens in the show happens? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could just fucking talk forever about Bebop, and maybe we will, because as Matt and I said, we're doing a fun experimental thing for the show next week, and at the end of every month now, we're gonna give you something new and different. It's still gonna be a podcast. You're still gonna get your podcast fill, but we're gonna change it up a little bit as we near 300 episodes. We figure we gotta spice it up. We gotta try something a little different.
Yeah. We've got one thing coming next week, which is a lot of fun, and then I suggested something which we'll probably do in December at some point, which I'm actually like, it was just something that just came into my mind, and I'm like, why haven't we done something like this before?
It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
What Matt pitched, and it's so perfectly seasonal. I can't wait for when we get to do it. It's going to be so much fun. But I guess with that out of the way, we can get on with the show this week. We got some news. We got some new books to talk about. We got all sorts of stuff.
We do, yeah.
So I guess starting off this week, the biggest piece of news that came down the pipeline was, of course, a brand new trailer drop for Spider-Man No Way Home. Did I say it right that time? I feel like
Yes.
I keep fucking it up. I got it right. Yay, I did the thing. Woo. But yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home, a big story trailer that gave us a lot of information and a lot of things to chew on. Where should we even start?
Uh, I don't know. I know, obviously, like, it gives you confirmation that he's going to be fighting Doc Ock and
Yep.
Goblin and
Maybe
Sandman
more than
and
one.
Lizard, and now I'm pretty sure it's the same Doc Ock. He just gets like an upgraded costume, or like an upgraded mask at least, because he's got like a hood.
Which begs the question, who's upgrading villains, or do they just get upgraded when they cross universes?
I imagine they just get upgraded when they cross universes, scavenge technology or something. Maybe
Yeah,
something to do
sure.
with Adrian Toomes, because they obviously set him
Maybe.
up as like someone who's dealing in all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because the Tinkerer is still out there, right?
Yeah,
And
as far as I
assumedly,
know, yeah.
yeah, and I'm guessing maybe there's multiple Tinkerers on different Earths, and it doesn't matter where you go to if you're a supervillain, you know where to get tooled up.
Yeah.
Also, too, hey, all these villains, why, that's almost 6, right?
Almost. It's like there's 5.
That's 5, and maybe a mystery one. It did look like in the trailer that there were 2 Green Goblins, because there's Willem Dafoe, obviously. And then there looked like what was either James Franco Goblin, but he's not on a surfboard.
I'm pretty
or
sure it's just Willem Dafoe's version. He just goes without the mask. It's like, because I'm
Right,
sure that
okay.
I think there was like a leaked picture of
Oh,
his
right.
goblin suit that had been like upgraded, but like like it looked like it was after his fight from Spider-Man 1,
Right.
and it had like
'Cause
different upgrade parts, and he's got like goggles and like a hood.
Right, because I was thinking it's either got to be that or it's got to be Syrian Hines or whatever the hell he was from the second Garfield one when they were just throwing every fucking villain in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's Ned. Maybe Ned finally becomes Hobgoblin and gets a glider.
Hey, I mean, that could happen. I mean, there's parts in this trailer that, imply maybe characters might die. Maybe he
Yeah.
dies and turns into Hobgoblin.
Oh no, oh no. But yeah, so they set up the stakes in this one that yes, it's going to be a big old multiversal adventure, that this is the price Peter pays for trying to use magic to fix his problem of getting outed to the rest of the world. And I know you and I had kind of been bumming on the fact where it's like, oh, this is cool, I guess, but we already had Spider-Verse. Can't Peter just go on a regular adventure? Maybe fight Craven?
Can't Tom Holland Spider-Man actually just have an adventure on like his
Yeah.
own? Because this
Wouldn't
this
that
this
be
whole
nice?
movie is just literally just nostalgia bait. Member
It's
berries.
it's that, and it's also, hey gang, this is the price we have to pay as a studio so Sony won't take their ball and run home
Mhm.
again.
Yeah, yeah. This is what we have to do to play fair.
Yeah. Michael Reese, yeah, Joel said the title right. Thank you, Reese. Thank you for the positive reinforcement. But here's the thing, I have to say this trailer actually did a lot to alleviate my problem, because they at least seek to communicate, to me at least, that they do still want to have a through line about this world's Peter Parker and
Mhm.
tell a story. And that is basically what happens when his friendly neighborhood ideology is thrown up against someone like Doctor Strange, who we know from his movie and everything else deals with stuff on a cosmic multiversal scale. And it's like,
Mhm.
look, you might not want to kill these villains, but the fact is they all died in their own world fighting Spider-Man, which is a very interesting thing to bring up here in a universe with a no-kill Spider-Man.
I also like that it kind of addresses the whole sort of like Marvel killing off their villains as well, where it's
Very.
like that it's a fate, it has to happen sort of
Yeah,
thing. Whereas like Spider-Man's like, no, it doesn't have to happen.
It's fate, and here in the MCU, it's not that big a deal when we kill villains because we do it all the time. Because honestly, no one has a rogues gallery like you, Spider-Man, where it's
Mhm.
worthwhile bringing back a lot of these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Which yeah is very interesting, and I very much want to see where they go with that, because yeah, this would be a great moment for Tom Holland Spider-Man to be like, no, I'm going to be the Spider-Man that doesn't kill. I'm going to be the one that shows forgiveness and shows mercy, and I'm going to show that there's a better way to do all of this.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite interesting that they're actually keeping that, and I'm hoping that like balancing that plus all this multiverse stuff, you have to actually also explain the multiverse, because to
Yeah.
general audiences who might not have seen like Loki and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So there's like a lot to balance, and hopefully the film actually does that properly.
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously, of course, worst kept secret in all of superhero movies. The other two Spider-Man actors are going to be in here playing different versions.
It's funny when I don't know how fucking people find this shit out. But like within I want to say 20 minutes of this film of the trailer dropping, someone had found a clip from one of the social medias of it was a clip of that scene where Tom Spider-Man is heading towards the Sandman and
And a construction
Electro
site.
and Lizard, and someone spotted that the Lizard actually gets hit by something that's
I
not
saw.
there. So obviously
Holy sh-
something's been edited out of the trailer.
which we know the MCU is very famous for these tricky little moments and putting stuff in the trailer and removing characters and putting them in to throw you off.
I saw something, and it kind of makes a lot of sense to me. Where it's like, okay, yeah, so obviously we know that the other Spider-Men are going to be in this film, but it's like the worst kept secret ever. But that
Yeah.
particular scene that people think that they're in, I don't think it's them. I think it's going to be Doc Ock and Green Goblin, the two villains who
Oh,
actually died.
interesting.
And because obviously Peter doesn't want to kill them, and they
Yeah,
wouldn't want to die again. So of course they would
assumedly.
team up with him to stop these other villains from killing them.
Mm. As people in the chat are bringing up too, are they going to play fast and loose with the continuity? Because it's like, well, didn't Spider-Man and Sandman actually leave on good terms in their movie? And also, wasn't the Lizard healed at the end of his movie?
I again, I'm telling you, variants. They're variants. They're not.
Oh,
They're not like. It's not like the Lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man film. It's the Lizard from
right.
a Amazing Spider-Man film.
Okay, yeah, that checks out. That makes a lot of sense, and also gives them a good blank check for mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, Jamie Foxx looks way better as this
Oh,
Electro.
doesn't he ever? He's actually looks a bit more comic accurate. He looks like the PS4 Spider-Man,
Very.
Electro.
I wonder, will they keep his motivation the same? You didn't wish me a happy birthday one time, or whatever the fuck I was mad about in that movie. God, that second Garfield movie is stupid.
It's so stupid. Yeah.
Everything about it is bad and wrong, and it was almost worse. Like that's the version they fixed and cut
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
God damn it. But again, it's been a long enough time now that we're nostalgic for that Spider-Man coming back. Okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely not.
Sure, whatever. Which one do we think he is? Because we saw a black suited Spider-Man with a bunch of more high tech. I'm guessing that's the Tobey Maguire version.
Well, that Spider-Man is actually that's the Tom Holland Spider-Man. What it
Oh, is it?
yeah, no, what it is apparently at some point in the film, some like heckler throws like green paint all over him, and
Oh.
so he doesn't stand out. He turns his costume inside out,
Oh, cool.
which so like all that stuff is like the circuitry that's on the inside of his costume, and then he's got like some Doctor Strange thing,
yeah,
which
like
I imagine is probably something that he has to use to like get the villains back into their dimensions or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I mean, like, it looks interesting enough. It looks like they have actually zeroed in on a real story to tell here with the
Mhm.
Holland version. I just hope when this is done, can we please just, go back to Spider-Man having regular adventures?
Yeah, I hope so.
Will this finally get something out of Sony's goddamn system? Look, you got your goddamn Sinister Six. You did it in the weirdest, most uncomfortable way possible, but you got it.
Yeah, you finally got it. You can tick off that contract slap. Now go do something else. Go make your Aunt May spy thriller.
Yeah, go make that Spider-Gwen movie you've been working on forever, which we still might end up getting. It just might be animated.
Yeah.
For real. Also, too, again, because it's only 5 villains, do we think there's going to be a 6th one? Let me throw a crazy theory out there, and let me tell you, and you tell me what you think about it. So Mysterio seemingly died at the end of the last movie by his own hands, but he's mysterious and everything is illusion based. What if he's still alive, and what if that's the big twist, that he's actually pulling the strings behind this in his own weird way? Maybe they'll steal an idea from the Ultimate Universe and be actually, yeah, there's multiple Mysterios working together.
That would make that's like the obvious thing. Like it's going to be that, and yeah, it's going to the funny thing is going to be like the guy who claimed to be from the multiverse is actually now like working with a multiverse counterpart of himself or something.
That would be pretty hilarious, where it's like, yeah, I almost shot myself, but then crazy Ultimate Universe Mysterio got me and said, no, I got a plan.
The other idea is that is the statute of limitations on Venom spoilers like lifted? No one gives a shit. The end of Venom ends up in the MCU. So like maybe he's the sixth member.
Sure, why?
Because for some reason at the end of that film, Venom hates Spider-Man. Even though he just like never met him before, just sees him on the TV. Okay.
Just instinctually he knows to hate him.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be Jared Leto and his sex cult. Maybe he's the sixth villain.
Yeah, not Morbius, just Jared Leto and his sex cult.
Jared Leto in his robes, he comes out. That'd be fun. Also, what's the over-under that maybe we'll see a live-action Miles in this too, and say that he's from the Multiverse animated universe? Because if we're going to be tying ourselves to all the shitty Sony properties, we might as well tie ourselves to the one undeniably good Sony property that everyone loves.
Maybe. I know that Miles does exist in the MCU because Aaron is in the film.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and they make a reference to Miles in Homecoming, I think.
Yeah, because we got to future-proof it. As Cosmic Reject brings up, too, it could also just be Vulture. Yeah, they could also just dust Vulture off for it.
Yeah. I know Michael Keaton said something. He was doing something recently that was Vulture-related, like filming something that was Vulture-related. And Doctor Strange has had reshoots recently.
Right. Also, it would be interesting with him to come back, because it's like, oh, whose side is Michael Keaton on? Because he actively protected Spider-Man's secret at the end of the other movie, even though he didn't have to.
Yeah. Spider-Man has like a kind of cool relationship with Adrian.
Very.
Where it's like, yeah, he's not going to tell him his secret. And I guess that's like part of the fun for him.
Right. And also, I guess it also doesn't even matter anymore, because now that secret is out to the world.
Yeah. Well, again, like, is that going to still stay like that by the end of the film? Or is no one going to remember? Is that going to be like, I could see some real drama coming from the fact that now everyone doesn't remember him, including MJ.
Yeah. That could be a way to reset a lot of stuff should they want to reset it.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to reset it after only 3 movies, but what the fuck do I know? They also imply that too, that they might be killing Zendaya in the same way they killed freaking Gwen in the other one. They're not gonna
she'll be saved by another one of the fucking Spider-Men.
Garfield will come in and save her and be like, no, not again, never again.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Because they have to close that loop for some reason.
So apparently people care about that a lot, and I'm like, why? It was in a bad movie. It came out of nowhere in the last 5 minutes. Again, based on an even older story.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trailer does look pretty good. I have my own weird reservations and everything, but I mean, this is the MCU we're dealing with. They've mostly been able to spin gold out of everything they've touched.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think they know full well how important this Spider-Man project is, and how important it is that, they don't go the way of the Sony properties, and they don't make people hate it after 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. I mean, there's a way to go about it.
Yeah.
And also, we get more Willem Dafoe again in a movie, which, I mean, is just good for everyone.
Yeah, he'll be hamming it up, and I imagine we'll have many more memes.
Ah, that's what it's really about. We're doing it for the meme.
the Willem Dafoe memes, yeah.
Sleep. I'm something of a goblin myself. That doesn't even make sense.
Oh, they'll all be in the film because, of course, Sony.
Yeah, gotta get them references. It's what the kids like. Gotta hit them while they're hot. Now, from Spider-Man news to Batman news, the solicitations for DC Comics hit this week, and a couple big revelations off the back of them. Apparently, Batman Inc. will be returning to the pages of the new upcoming Joshua Williamson Batman series. But wait, are they returning as villains?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes, because we see, what is it, Batman Inc., a lot of the characters, Night Runner, La Gaucho, but they seem to be hanging out with the new Joshua Williamson villainous creation, Abyss.
Yeah. Again, it's just a cover. It's probably not indicative of what actually is happening in the book. But yeah, that'd be pretty interesting to see if they actually are maybe going after Batman. And Batman who is leaving Gotham.
Yes.
Which is very interesting because it was just announced as well that Jace Fox's Batman is leaving Gotham for New York.
Really?
Yeah, New York's going to be his Gotham.
So every Batman's just fucking up.
Yeah, so there's so if he leaves at the same time, there's going to be a moment in time where there's no Batman in Gotham.
You know what I think that is? I think that's John really being like, cool, so I'm ready to write my Batman finally. Yeah, well, our new editorial mandate is no Batmans in Gotham. They're all leaving, so if he was to stay, he would instantly become the Batman of Gotham. We can't have that. Also, too, I love Joshua Williamson. There's no doubt that DC creatively is on the man's back right now, and he's turning out some really amazing stuff and putting out a lot of continuity fires. Mm-hmm. If this is his big original villain he's running with for Batman Abyss, I think he kind of looks like shit, honestly.
I think it's too close to, like, Ghostmaker.
Very.
Like,
he looks like
introducing a villain that, like, yeah, kind of looks like Ghostmaker, but, like, in, like, a darker costume. And yeah, a bit too close to his first appearance to be doing a new character. And what is actually happening with Ghostmaker anyway? He just disappearing along with James Tynion to Substack?
I'm assuming so. I'm assuming all of those original characters are going to be fallen by the wayside after this. But when I see the name Abyss, and it's like, oh, he's got two little Grim Reaper sides and a hood and, cool little neon X's on his eyes, I'm like, wow, that looks like every original villain I drew when I was 13.
Yeah, I get it. Maybe that's the point.
Maybe, I guess we'll see. I think Batman's had a real problem in the last couple years with too many villains who are trying to be like the next Deathstroke or the next Prometheus. No one wants to be like the next Clock King or the next Two-Face.
Next Penguin or something. They always got to be fucking edgy and awesome and like the antithesis of Batman and everything.
Yeah, they all want to be the Grim Reaper. They all want to be Phantasm. What happened to the colorful villains with the gimmicks?
Hell, what happened to just make like a new mob king or something? Like a new mob boss he's got to fight that's gives Batman a run for his money or something. It doesn't have to be like someone who actually can tackle Batman physically.
Tell me about it. Michael Reese, another month, another 20 Batman books in DC solicitations. Well, he does keep the lights on at that company, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree with you, Matt. Yeah, let's get another new mob boss. Hell, dust off an old one. Say, hey, we're recanonizing Rupert Thorne, or here's Lou Moxon Jr. from like the fucking golden age.
Yeah, or like hell, they're sick of working in Metropolis. Send fucking Bruno Mannheim and his cult of crime over there to Gotham.
Intergang comes to Gotham. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Have they never told that story? That's a good story.
I don't know. I know there's like a moment there where like Batwoman's involved with like the crime Bible and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But I don't think they've ever really come to Gotham.
Especially now would be a good time to have someone like Bruno Ugly Mannheim be like, there's no organized street stuff in Gotham anymore. It keeps getting blown up by jokers and scarecrows.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to business, everyone. Guns, drugs, prostitution, NFTs, all the good stuff.
Yeah, monkey NFTs.
Yeah, we're going
to have so many people right-clicking and saving them, and we're going to trade them on the black market.
There you go. Bomber guy, everyone trying too hard to be KG Beast. Yeah, KG Beast is another perfect example of we're going to create a villain that's so cool and everyone's going to love him.
Yeah. And as you said, they all kind of look like offshoots of like Deathstroke
Yes.
and like characters like that where they're all like tactical and military sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's never anything, and never anyone like no one wants to be looking like Scarecrow
Yeah.
or Penguin or Zaz or something.
Or any of those guys. Hell, for all the shit they give Mr. Bloom, all the credit in the world for Scott Snyder for trying something new and weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, he didn't stick around that long. He was really more of a Gordon villain and then kind of became a Duke villain for a bit. Honestly, you know who my favorite newer Batman villain is? And I'm pretty sure she's a Tynion creation, actually, and no one's brought her up and no one's mentioned her after this story. Mother from Batman and Robin Forever, or Unite, or whatever the hell it was. That monthly series they did.
Yeah, she hasn't been in anything in a long time.
Nothing since that story, though she was on the Gotham show, which blows me away.
Okay.
Because Gotham burnt through like every other creation they had. But yeah, Mother was cool because she was just an old lady who dressed like an English nanny, and her deal was she turned kids into child soldiers and everything, and it reflected Batman's own messed up relationship to children.
Yeah, yeah. Again, stuff like that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Someone said, what about Arkham Knight? Arkham Knight is also very much in that same field of like, oh, I'm like Batman but evil and I have a sword and everything.
And they're doing stuff with Arkham Knight now anyway in Task Force C.
Yeah. Again, willing to give Joshua Williamson all the credit in the world, but I look at this and I'm just like, this doesn't fill me with hope.
Yeah, hey, I don't know. Maybe as well as like it might be tied into like all the stuff he's doing with like the Infinite Frontier and everything.
True. Yeah. Again, Abyss might take their mask off and be someone completely unexpected.
Yeah. Again, tying it into the Infinite Frontier. What if it's like another Earth's Batman?
Oh shit! Again, must we keep doing evil Batman from the multiverse?
Yes, Joel. They sell the fucking books.
I guess we must, but again, I hate this idea that Batman is so fucking cool. The only person who can fight Batman is another Batman. That's my issue.
That's how we sell the books, Joel.
Or you can just create a new villain. Hell, I'm thinking back even further. Remember the designer Tynan's first big villain who turned out to actually be nobody at all? It turned out to be like a zombie that fucking Joker
really
was
fucking
piloting.
cool. That was a cool villain.
It was very, very Metal Gear.
Yeah. And he even looked like a Metal Gear villain.
Here's the thing. I found out later through the grapevine the theory that you and I had. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if designer turned out to actually be like Alfred in disguise, and this was like Batman trying to get over on his villains? Apparently that was true. Apparently that was the original idea.
God damn it! Why couldn't they go through with it?
Because they wanted Alfred to stay dead. But again, I'm pretty sure Joshua Williamson is going to be bringing him back in Robin. So there we go.
God damn it.
So they kind of got with that. Yeah, Bomber Guy, the Victim Syndicate. They were cool. Whatever happened to the Victim Syndicate? Another tie-in creation.
Yeah, from Detective Comics. Yeah, they kind of just disappeared as well.
Yeah, they were solid. We also never found out who the first victim was.
No.
That's just another tie-in story that left unanswered, which, fuck, I wish he did that story instead of doing Fear State.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, he could have tied it all back together.
That's the thing, too, where everyone's like, oh, this Tynion Batman run is so bad. I'm like, no, it was bad at the end. It was pretty good at the beginning, and he also had a much better Batman run. It was just called Detective Comics.
Yeah.
All right, so there's your Batman Inc. news, everyone. We'll see about this. This doesn't start until issue 7, and I'm assuming Williamson's Batman run has to begin soon, because we got the Omega issue, and then I guess we just start right away.
It's the next issue, yeah, which makes whatever happened at the end of Fear State just even more incomprehensible.
And even more kind of meaningless. I gotta wonder how quickly Joshua Williamson got word that he was going to be writing Batman now, because it feels like it all happened very soon.
Well, we only found out not too long ago.
It's true, because Tynion was leaving, getting that big Substack deal, getting all those TV deals, and then it's like, oh, who the fuck's going to write Batman? Joshua Williamson, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, moving on from there, we got some more news again in the DC Pantheon. Now, Matt, hold on to your hat, because this might just blow you away. But apparently in 2022, so, next year sometime, Nightwing is going to be teaming up with John Kent. I mean,
really?
It's almost as if they're written by the same person or something.
This is like the most obvious thing to happen in the history of comic books.
Tell me about it. I do love the idea though, like again, because it's just such a no-brainer slam dunk. Yeah, the adopted son of Batman teaming up with the real son of Superman as he is beginning his super career, as Nightwing is going into the next stage of his super career now that he has money and everything.
Not only that, they've like signposted the fuck out of it by
Oh yeah.
like John has already met with like Dick and everything, and he's met with Wally as well, and they're
Yep.
setting up all this stuff up with those two and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is no brainer.
No brainer, written by the same guy. I'm sure Tom Taylor has many ideas, and I'm sure they'll be very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the biggest no-brainer. Now, again, did they say if this was going to be in like a story running through both their books, or if this was going to be a new Batman Superman type deal?
I think it's one issue of Nightwing and one issue of Son of Kal-El.
All right, so
because Tom mentioned that this cover here gets like there's a connected cover with this and then another cover, so I imagine the other cover is Son of Kal-El.
all right, so a little two-parter. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
This should be good. I'm sure they'll bring up the fact where it's like, hey, Nightwing is actually a Kryptonian thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That would be fun. I'm sure there's lots of places they could go with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just some good news, everyone. There's a story that I'm sure everyone will like. They don't happen all the time, but here's the biggest no-brainer. Everyone's gonna like this story. Now, moving on with a bit more of an outside-the-box idea here. The Watcher. Boy, he's sure been doing good recently because of What If. Everyone knows his name now, if they didn't already. He's a household commodity now. And apparently he's going to be getting his own tie-in miniseries for the upcoming Reckoning War, which is the big Dan Slott Fantastic Four event.
I have to imagine when they were writing like this event, because the writing would have happened just before What If happened, and then What If happened, and everyone's like, oh, the Watcher's so fucking awesome and everything. They're like, okay, crack the glass and we'll start implementing more Watcher into this story.
It's truly amazing, and I bet we never thought we'd see the day where it's like, yeah, the Watcher is big now. We really got to push the Watcher and put the Watcher in more things.
Well, again, they started like just before What If started coming on. They started like signaling his return, with him coming back and like the original Nick Fury getting freed from like his servitude and whatnot, and the chains and everything, and him getting his eyes and everything.
Has anyone followed up on that story again?
Nope.
What the hell happened to old Nick Fury?
Nope.
I think they just hope we're gonna forget about it. Yeah.
I imagine that stuff like this is gonna deal with it. Timeless and Reckoning War and whatnot.
You would hope so. Though honestly, the more I look at Timeless, the more I'm like, oh, so time's the new big thing again. I'm just like, I can't.
Because it's the same thing in the MCU. Time and
same
multiverses and all that sort of stuff.
Like, look, it's a great idea when it's just a seasoning, but when it's the whole meal.
I know.
And like, again,
Marvel and DC do this every now and then, where
they
like
really
they'll go too far into the synergy.
Yeah, they overload you, and it gets to be a little much as a comic fan and a person who goes to see the movies only. If anything, at times I almost feel a little jealous of the people who just interact with this universe via the movies and TV shows. Because, again, you're not thinking about it all the time. But yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I don't think Dan Slott said that this is going to be his last Fantastic Four story, but he's certainly making it out to be that this is like his biggest Fantastic Four story ever.
It's probably coming towards the end, yeah. Because I imagine, because they've got to get a new writer on for like when the movie comes out.
True. It's like you think that, but then you're also reminded where it's like, yeah, but didn't he write Spider-Man for like over a decade?
I don't think he'll want to do that again with like another set of characters.
No, I guess not.
That was some hard work he did on that.
I can only imagine. So yeah, if you love The Watcher, you're going to be getting more Watcher than you know what to do with coming this year, I think. Now, again, as we're on the subject of multiverses and Spider-Man and everything else, here's another story that I'm sure is going to hit home with you pretty big. Hey, Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider as she is known to her friends. Pretty popular, right? Pretty big. Started in the original Spider-Verse as a variant cover that got so big and popular, it launched a whole sub-franchise. Well, guess what? She's getting her own Spider-Verse event now, Gwenverse.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Cool.
Is the Ghost Spider book even going on anymore? I lost track
I
of
don't
it.
think so. I think that finished up a long time ago.
Because like the stuff I've read of Spider Gwen, Ghost Spider was always good, but I always said, I'm like, but what's the shelf life on this? How long are you going to be able to keep doing this for until you run out of road? And the answer is, we never have to stop. We're never going to run out of road.
The one thing that really annoys me about this, obviously on the cover we get like the usual Captain America, Wolverine, and all those variants, and I kind of wish like for once they would do something where they do variants with like other heroes or villains and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Not it's always the same sort of stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's what's popular at the moment.
It's like they were also doing like a what if, I think. I saw a cover for a what if, and it's what if Miles Morales was Captain America, and I'm like, well,
that's also gonna be a thing.
He'd just be Sam Wilson
At that point, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's like, well, like, what makes that interesting?
I don't know. What it is that the variants are very cool, and the artist had a lot of fun designing the costume. And because the characters are likable enough on their own merits, we hope that will carry the whole story. Because again, let's face it, Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, whatever you want to call her, is one of the greatest success stories in Marvel Comics. She was a fucking variant cover. That everyone's like, that's so cool, that costume is so good, I would happily read a whole series about that. Then she got like 3, and then she joined the main universe, and now she's getting a whole event that's like, but what other costumes can we put Gwen Stacy into?
How about a Captain America one, a Wolverine one?
Sure.
What about a Thor one?
Why not? If any of these are popular, we'll spin that off too.
Yeah, what's sticking? What's sticking? Like, is the Captain America one? Can we get a Captain Gwen story? What's going on?
Why the fuck now? Which is funny, because if you read the Spider-Gwen book, it was also filled with variants. Like, what if Daredevil was the Kingpin? What if, the Thing never became the Thing and became a cop? What if Captain America was a woman, interestingly enough? That's where the first Captain Carter is.
Yeah, yep.
So again, I feel like this is more of a testing ground. It's like, yeah, but what other what ifs can we do?
Again, it's like the original what ifs. It was all like, what do you guys want? What's going to stick that we could probably put into the main universe?
It's also funny, too, because it's like, hey, didn't this character have a hard time holding down a book? Yes, but here's a big event story with them. Because
we're going to make her matter.
Yeah, and again, even if it doesn't, what we'll make back in action figures and character skins and posters and costumes and everything else will be more than worth it.
Where's the Gwen Stacy Fortnite skin?
Oh, I bet that exists. If that doesn't exist, then I think that would be crazy. Also, yes, as the chat is saying, that's Night Gwen on the cover, too, because Gwen Stacy was also Batgirl in that other story with the, Squadron Supreme. So not only...
the Heroes Reborn stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so not only is she Spider-Girl, she's also Batgirl, too.
Yeah, Batgirl, Nightwing crossover, yeah.
Yep. Cowboy helping us out in the chat. In Spider-Gwen comic book, I recall her teaming with Silk and Spider-Woman. I wonder if Gwenverse will pick up from there. Maybe if that's where that story ended.
Yeah, well, again, I guess it depends on what the writer wants to keep.
True.
Yeah. Do we know who's writing this?
I feel like I should know, but I just saw the poster and stuff there.
That's what they're not relying on who the writer is. They're relying on that image.
Yes, this is a very art-driven book, which is fine. And if you're a fan, I'm sure you'll enjoy this because it's more of the thing you like.
Yes, and it also means as well that this book will probably have about 50 billion variant covers, each featuring a different Gwen.
Pick them up at your local Comic-Con when you can go to them.
Yes, because they'll all be worth something, but not really. Because there'll be too many of them made.
Hey, they're all worth something to somebody.
Hey, that Miracle Molly I bought has got an appreciated value.
I mean, it did, didn't it? Wasn't it worth a lot of money right away? Really. I haven't checked back on it.
Not really.
But no, I remember it was. It was going for a lot of money
for like a hot minute. And then it's like, whatever.
Well, you see, Matt,
in a speculator market.
Yeah, I see. In the speculator market where everything is a grift, you got to get in quick.
They made too many of them.
You gotta get in there quick, everybody.
It's the old Death of Superman all over again.
Pretty much. And don't worry, we will be talking more about Miracle Molly later. Don't worry. I know a lot of people just wiped a lot of sweat from their brow, like, oh, good. Now, we're not done yet with DC stuff, too. As we had mentioned before, Batman is going to be leaving Gotham City, which begs the question, what the hell is the Detective Comics going to become now? Because we can't have two books about him not being in Gotham. Apparently, because of that, Detective Comics is actually returning to its roots of not just being about Batman. Detective Comics is going to stay in Gotham City, but it's going to focus on other members of the Bat family.
Yeah, we're getting a big 12-issue story series called Shadows of the Bat, which to me it just signals like, oh, this is Mariko Tamaki getting to do what she wants to do in the book for the first time since taking up the book.
Yeah, hey Marika, you were a good little soldier there for a minute by doing all this Fear State bullshit and, having the backups of your books set up for Task Force Z and everything. Now you get to play in Gotham with no one else encroaching on you, basically.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because it sounds like it's going to be pretty awesome.
Also, judging by this cover, it looks like Psycho Pirate's involved.
Psycho Pirate's involved. I'm think who else was involved? I saw there was like a heap of covers for it released because it's fucking 12 issues.
Yeah.
I want to say there was a Joker cover.
Nice.
And it's all these characters that like we hardly get to see. Psycho Pirate's quite an interesting one because obviously we saw his involvement in Infinite Frontier. So what does that have to do with this book?
What indeed? Yeah, again, Psycho Pirate whose whole shtick is he knows about crises and continuity.
Yeah. The one thing I really hope, since we're going to be focusing on other heroes, is I hope they take a cue from Future State and we get to see more Slam Bradley and his bar.
Yes, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the things in the Future State Gotham stuff that was really cool. He has like a bar set up where like people who cosplay as heroes and villains come and just like fuck around.
I mean, Tamaki wrote that, didn't she?
I'm not too sure.
I want to say no, it was a backup in her.
I'm pretty sure it was
Dark
a backup
book.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, there's places you could go with it. And again, Gotham has always been bigger than Batman. Detective Comics hasn't always been a Batman book, so I'm interested to see this return to form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll definitely check this one out. Even if it is more Batman-related content, but it's Batman without Batman. It's like Garfield without Garfield.
And it should be good because it's Mariko Tamaki getting to finally do something.
Tell me about it. Remember how good that book was when it started, and then it's like, events and editorial are clearly smothering this.
Yep.
Now, from there, we got another piece of DC news, and this one feels like a no-brainer, but it's nice to have it finally announced. That Aquaman The Becoming book from Brandon Thomas will be reaching its end as it's only a mini-series, but guess what? It's not stopping there because the book will actually be rebranding and become Aquamen now, which is going to feature both Calder and Arthur in a team-up book.
Yeah, it was, again, kind of a no-brainer. It was going to happen. Yeah. It was kind of signposted everywhere that this was what was going to happen.
It's funny that this has like been the longest since the New 52 where Arthur Aquaman didn't have a book but only existing in like miniseries and shit.
Yeah, he's just been like part of like the Justice League and Justice League Dark and like the a secondary character in this Becoming book as well.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to see Brandon Thomas kind of get to take the helm of like a big series and a big character like this. Clearly, the right people are seeing what he's doing on The Becoming. Obviously, he's very involved in Milestone. Apparently, he's going to be writing that Milestone movie whenever the hell that happens.
Yep.
And clearly, DC, wants to keep this hot young writer, friendly to their cause. So he gets to do all of Aquaman. And all right, I mean, this is enough to make me want to check out what the fuck Aquaman's doing.
Yeah, I'm like an issue behind on Becoming, and so far it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Again, feels like, they struck while the hammer was ice cold with Calder when he was doing so big and was, popular on Young Justice. They came to it too late. There was a lot of discontinuity. Is he the character from the show? Is he not the character from the show? Shave his head and let him grow his hair back out again. But it looked like they're finally figuring it out. And I think they want to future-proof this, too, because they're like, hey, we're making Aquaman movies now. What if Momoa doesn't want to do it in a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe we should have another Aqua person waiting in the rings, yeah?
Yep.
So there's a thing. Now what else do we got going on there after that? Oh, that's it. That's the news for this week.
Oh, we got one more bit of news that you forgot, and I knew you were
Oh,
going to
that's
forget
right.
this.
I forgot it twice now, but I will let you take point on this, Matt, because this has Matt written all over it.
Yeah, it is pretty big bit of news, and that is that Lucasfilm are teaming back up with Dark Horse Comics again to continue doing Star Wars comics with them.
Which is very interesting because there was a minute there where we thought they had lost the license completely.
Well, they did, and it was given to IDW.
Oh,
and now
right.
IDW, their tenure is ending, so I guess it's going back to Dark Horse. And no, this doesn't mean the Marvel Comics Star Wars stuff is stopping. That's still going. Apparently what Dark Horse is going to be doing is more of the all ages books and the High Republic stuff, which is what IDW was doing. So I imagine it's just like a transition sort of thing.
Right, because I'm thinking IDW does like all ages Spider-Man and shit, but I'm guessing this is the same deal they want, but for Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's so weird, Marvel, their relationship with other companies and their big brands. I guess they're like, well, we got it, and we can't make everything.
Yeah. I just don't get the idea behind the IDW stuff. Why couldn't Marvel just do those comics?
I don't.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't understand this weird game of like contractual hot potato they've been playing, but yeah.
But no, that's pretty cool. I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing beyond that, because they didn't really give an idea of what else they're going to be doing in terms of comics. They did mention they're going to be doing original graphic novels as well. So I'm not sure if that just means more adaptations of the High Republic books like they've been doing. And like all the books they've been doing, or whether that's actual original creations from Dark Horse.
This feels like a story just for you, because it's like, okay, here's more stuff that I will read as an ultra Star Wars fan who needs to keep everything straight.
The best thing as well, this news broke while I was live streaming The Old Republic.
Oh, fun!
So I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's great timing.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah.
Hey, just give me more Star Wars Legacy. No, I know you can't, because it was done.
If they bring back Ostrander and those guys off, yes, please.
Hey, Ostrander's hot right now off his, the Suicide Squad cameo.
Yeah, just pay him whatever he wants to write some more stuff about Cade Skywalker and all his friends.
That'd be nice. I would like that a lot. That is the Star Wars future that I enjoy. So there you go, everyone. We got DC, we got Marvel, and we got a little Star Wars in there for you, too. You got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Crimson Echidna helping us out, but also coming late. We mentioned the Miles Morales What If, that he's getting another series, very much like Gwenverse at the same time, where it's like, well, what if Miles was other people?
Yeah.
Which also seems like, hey, here's a fun excuse for artists to draw fun and interesting costumes with Miles that we can turn into figures and maybe what-if episodes and character skins for games.
And special variant covers that we can flood the market with, and people will think it's worth something.
Get your favorite, because it's going to sell out.
Yep.
That's what I would do. Also, too, hey, these costumes are probably better than the costume he's wearing right now in the comics.
I haven't seen his new costume, but I know he does have a new one. It's like a more red than black, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like, what if Scarlet Spider started wearing a tracksuit?
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you.
Which is fine. It covers his mouth in a weird way, which I don't like.
Okay.
It's anime in the bad ways, where it's like, oh, and here's like, you know how in anime there's characters who like just have like big collars that cover their mouths for reasons. Yeah.
Couldn't he just have that costume he wore in that Jim Zub Champions book where they went to the Dungeons and Dragons world?
That's a good one. You know what I think it is? I think they need to change his costume now so they can make a big deal of changing it back when Spider-Verse 2 comes out.
Yeah, or it's something more in line with what he's going to be wearing in Spider-Verse 2.
Maybe, who the hell knows?
Yeah.
That's my theory. Again, I think a lot of Spider-Man right now is like, yeah, but we got new movies and anniversaries coming up that we need to build to.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anyone loves the new costume. I think everyone is just okay with it.
Yeah, though I think a lot of people realize it's like a transitional costume, where it's like, hey, it's not going to stay around for long.
Yeah, which again, Saladin Ahmed did literally the same thing with Miss Marvel over in her book. Gave her a costume where everyone's like, it's fine, it's not as good as the old one, and then she just went back to the old one.
Yeah.
I feel this is going to be the same thing where it's like, yeah, you didn't like it, but it's great that I got this back now, right? I think he's actually fighting Taskmaster now in the new book. I'm waiting for the arc to be done to read it, because that's how I read it now.
That's cool.
Yeah. Again, more kind of video gamey connection. Here he is fighting Taskmaster.
Yeah.
So I guess with that out of the way, we can get to what we read this week. I only read 5 books this week. I'm kind of behind.
Yeah.
But nice mix of what I did read. Where would you like to start, Matt?
Well, let's get Fear State out of the way.
Which I'm pretty sure was on James Tynan's whiteboard when he was writing this story. Let's get Fear State out of the way.
As he counts his Substack money.
Yeah, as he's just wait. Man, if you ever wanted to know what a series was like when a good, talented writer has one foot firmly out the door the entire time, that's what this was. It's like, look, I will write it and I'll finish it, but it's not going to be my best work, I promise you. Which is weird because Joker continues to be good, and apparently that vampire book is good too. So this is the one he sleptwalked through.
Yeah, well, again, it's like Batman, so it's like, whatever I write, people are gonna buy anyway and love because it's Batman.
Which, fair enough. Whether it's good or bad, who cares? Mine will just be another in a great sea of Batman stories. But I can still write the best Gordon story, and I can still write the best vampire story.
Yep.
So might as well. This is the big finale of the story, but really, because the story is so thin, it's like the end to 3 other stories that are all kind of happening at the same time.
Yeah, it's funny because like I don't think there was enough content in Fear State to warrant as many issues as it is, but then also they've taken that content and then stretched it out, and then rushed through that content.
It's such a weirdly put together story. So like it starts with Nightwing and the other heroes raiding the Magistrate airbase, which is what we see in the Nightwing tie-in from this week. And I'm like, oh, so they beat Simon Saint, but like they've never met Simon Saint or talked to him before.
The Nightwing and the Bat family are the ones responsible for the downfall of the Magistrate, not Batman. Even though like this whole thing's been building up to that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Batman has a punch up in the sewers with a guy
which has been going on for like 4 fucking issues.
Yeah, and technically even longer if you count, what is it, Future State, where Mahoney was the bad guy there, too. And it's like, oh, so Batman has a punch-up in the sewers with a guy who never really mattered.
No.
That's weird. We see that. We see the big reuniting of Poison Ivy and her good half, and I'm like, I'd probably appreciate this more if I was reading the Harley book.
That's what frustrated me about that, because I knew that came out this week as well. I haven't been reading those secret files, because... no, thank you.
Because why? The story's already thin. I don't need more background on a story that's already thin.
But what I hated about this is that she's get introduced to that like extra part of her, and it's like, okay, the gardener kept it because she's the innocent part of you and didn't want that to be destroyed. And Queen Ivy, after like spending 2 issues being like, nah, fucking sick of all this shit, all this bullshit, just is just like, okay, and just like accepts it. And it's like, okay, maybe put a little bit more into that.
It's so this drama you built up was actually no drama at all and no real tension. That's true across the book too, where it's like, oh no, is this important? Actually, no, it was never important.
No.
This book is great for that, where it's like, oh, so there were never any real stakes, is what you were saying.
No, there wasn't. Actually, absolutely wasn't.
They keep saying like, oh, the terror on the streets, the fear state. I'm like, really? Because it seems like regular people just went inside and
show us this terror. Show us like all this stuff. No, can't do that.
This just seems like a weaker version of Joker War. At least with Joker War, there were kill crazy clowns on the street.
That's what like the Nightwing book needed. It needed to be like he needed to be like down on the street and there's like riots and like people viciously murdering each other. And Dick's got to like stop these people, not deal with the fucking magistrate and all that sort of stuff.
For all the talk about fear, they really did nothing to explore it, which is a shame.
No.
That was annoying. What else was annoying? Oh, the fact that the book almost actually comes to life for a moment in the last couple pages when it's like, oh,
with Batman and Miracle Molly.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, so Miracle Molly has to defuse the fear bomb. But wait, why would I want to do that? My whole group was about trying to transform the world. I can actually inverse what Crane is doing here, and I can actually complete our plan of removing everyone's fear and trauma and giving them all a fresh start. I'm like, oh, holy shit, this is something.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
the
finally
only thing
something.
in the issue I really love because it built on that relationship that Batman and Molly
Yes,
had, and like I would have loved the book if it like completely subverted everything and she sets the bomb off, but it doesn't work
same.
properly and just works on Batman.
Or
Like,
something
because then
like
that would
that.
feed into the whole thing of Batman deciding if he wanted to go through with this sort of thing,
Mm-hmm,
and he
mm-hmm.
ends up going through it anyway.
And again, he talks Miracle Molly down by giving it an impassioned speech, which, yes, does tie back into the themes that, Tynan was working with when I still enjoyed the story about, retributive justice versus restorative justice, and saying, it's not just criminals who are a superstitious and cowardly lot. Being superstitious and fearful is part of human condition, and you can't just turn that on and off because we're all who we are, the good and the bad. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I just wish you didn't jam it all here right at the end. It's a good speech, but like again, no real drama because it's like, oh yeah, I believe you, Batman. Good speech.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it would have been really great if he gave that big speech and she still like set it off.
And then she did it anyway, yeah. Because again, that would also tie into the thing where Batman's like, look, I didn't have to keep peace on the street because Nightwing and Ghostmaker and Harley Quinn and Clown Hunter and all these people who I gave second chances to, they're doing it for me because, that's, you have to not be afraid to trust people. Trusting people is the scariest thing you can do. So yeah, that would be a nice subversion to be like, ooh, you trust Miracle Molly and she was actually the wrong person to trust because, sometimes when you trust, you get burnt.
Yeah, and then that could also then give the next writer a chance to write a more harder Batman who doesn't trust anyone and leaves the city because of it.
Yeah. Again, I have to wonder, did Tynan get maybe a little too precious with his creation at the end?
Yeah, maybe.
Got a little too precious there? Because, like, yeah, if Miracle Molly ended up fucking over everyone, that would be kind of awesome.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
It would be kind of awesome. And then you know what it is? It's like I feel like they've done the story. Like, what if everyone in Gotham was free of their fear and trauma? Remember in like the New 52, that Gothopia book they did for like a couple issues where like, what if Gotham was nice and closer to Metropolis?
Yep.
That feels like where they could have gone with it, but it's like, nah. And what's even crazier is that when the story is done, it's still not done because we have an Omega issue to deal with the fallout. And I'm like, what fallout? We saw it all.
The issue just ends.
The biggest, most important thing is Oracle lost her tower. That's it.
Yeah, everything else, I guess, like Scarecrow was shot, but like he still lived.
Yeah, and long enough to talk shit.
Yeah, that's about it.
Mayor Nakano gets a pass, even though he's like a lot to blame in this. But don't worry, because he's also doing Task Force Z shit apparently too.
Yeah. Oh god damn it! I want something bad to happen to that guy.
I know, which is such a shame too, because here's another character who came in and was actually pretty fascinating and came from detective to where it's like, oh, he's a former Gotham cop who doesn't like superheroes but actually has kind of an understandable reason to, and he's not corrupt and he walks the walk and talks the talk and he's not afraid to fight people for what he believes in. But like every story has just made him more and more of a shitty sniveling politician.
Yeah, I really wish they did like the story I pitched where it's like they do something where it's some sort of psychological thing that when you become the mayor of Gotham, just something happens to you because just like the city corrupts you,
get brain worms.
Just fucks you over, and he's like stuck in a position of power with no actual real power, and like he can't do anything.
That would have been interesting too, or at least tell a story. And maybe Tamaki will tell this when she doesn't have to write about Batman and events. Have him have like a come to God moment where it's like, wow, I became everything I ran against. Wow, maybe Batman and these superheroes do kind of have a point because, like you said, this city wears on you.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Yeah, maybe that's what she's going to do, and hopefully she does.
Yeah, it would be something as opposed to the nothing. It's funny, too, that Nightwing book, apart from just dealing with Simon Saint and getting him out of the way in a really, uninteresting manner. The book then has the gall to be like, oh, but they didn't catch Seer, this other villain we pulled out of our ass because we needed another one. If you want to see more of Seer, read the Batgirls book. And I'm like, oh, that's an anti-commercial. That makes me not want to read Batgirls.
Seer is such a strange character because here in that book as well, she's nothing like she is in I Am Batman. She is more interesting in I Am Batman because she's like this like hardcore right winger who's like stoking the fires of like paramilitary people to like go up against the cops and free themselves from the oppressed and the fake news and all that. It's like all that, but none of that's in Nightwing or anything. And she's just like some rich kid.
You know what that is clearly? Clearly the writers didn't talk to each other on this one. It's like, look, I'm out the door. Here's the character sheets for what we're doing. Write whatever you want because they're all just going to throw it away when I leave anyway. So
yeah.
Just so disappointing because you know this writer can do better. And holy shit, Fear State was so unamazing and so just kind of boring that it dragged down all the other Batman books it touched.
Yeah.
This is an event on autopilot. This is a creator who's like, I am not going to give this 100%.
Yeah, it boggles in my mind as well when I see other people saying that they fucking love the event. It was so emotional, and I'm like, what the fuck event were you reading?
Was this your first event?
Yeah.
Have you only been reading Batman since?
I'll say this: their praising and stuff isn't as bad as like it was during like the King era.
True.
Like that there was like just pretentious like bullshit.
Yeah. Though I did have someone say like, oh, this is as bad or worse as the King run. I'm like, no. No, King was pretentious and smelling his own farts for 3 years till he eventually, actually wrote himself into the story and said everyone was being mean to him.
Yeah.
Tynion just kind of, like we said, just kind of got bored at the end when he had a foot out the door. I understand why this story wasn't good.
Yeah, you can tell the exact moment where he got that Substack deal on his desk, and it's like, well, I don't have to put 100% effort into this anymore.
Yeah, yet put 100% into that Joker book, which is still excellent. And
maybe he had scripts for that written like way in advance, and maybe you're going to get to it maybe like in like the next 3 or 4 issues. Maybe it'll hit that point where it's like, oh, this is the Substack issue.
or maybe it was already done was the thing before he got it. Or maybe it's just like, no, I can still write arguably the best Gordon story. Like, again, it's a drop in the bucket writing Batman stories, good, bad, whatever, it'll be forgotten. But everyone will remember the best Gordon story.
Hell, maybe he just finds them more interesting characters. And they are more interesting characters.
Maybe there's less editorial control because, again, in these interviews we've been reading with Tyne, and he's like, yeah, I invented a bunch of new characters because I hated how stifling DC editorial was because there's mandates for everyone.
Yeah.
And even after working my way up into the company writing their biggest book in Batman, I was still getting mandated to death.
Yeah.
So, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I imagine we'll find out in the next year or so on his Substack blog.
Exactly. We might have to buy a Substack subscription, but we'll get to hear all about it, I'm sure. Shame, too, because the build-up was pretty interesting and pretty timely. Batman fighting a trigger-happy paramilitary police militia that, all... reactionary justice as opposed to restorative justice and everything.
Yeah, it was like a really fantastic build-up with like A-Day and like all that sort of stuff, and it was just like when it came to the Fear State event, it just sucked.
Like, here's the thing, Joker War looks better now in comparison, doesn't it? For all the people who were hard on Joker War, it's like, no, Joker War was the good one, actually.
Yeah, that was him giving a shit.
And that was supposed to be his last one.
Yeah.
Before COVID and before things changed. That's an interesting alternate universe. What if that was his last story? What if Ridley really did come on? What would that have looked like?
Oh man, that would have been pretty awesome.
Would have been interesting to see how things would have been different. So,
Future State is canon. We've been over this I don't know how many times with you. Future State is canon.
It's just a what if future now.
Yeah.
Because things changed.
Yeah, again, possible futures. It's there in the titles of the books.
I guess one of the other things that did change was the destruction of Arkham Asylum, and they're going to be building Arkham Tower, which is a whole other thing. So that's something to look forward to, I guess.
Yeah, that'll be quite interesting. See what happens with that.
I imagine Arkham Tower will work much like Arkham Asylum did, with villains continually breaking out. But yeah, so there was Batman and also technically Nightwing, because they basically told the same story.
Yeah.
And it was kind of
Yeah, very
eh.
I'm gonna be glad. I'm glad now that Nightwing's back to its normal stories now.
Same. Yeah, you can tell the fucking Nightwing just saying, now I gotta run back to Bloodhaven and the good stories I was having. Now that I'm done with this shit. What else did you read this week, Matt?
What did I have this week? I guess we can talk about Son of Kal-El issue 5.
Yes, I actually just put up my review for this before we started there, and yeah, pretty solid story. This is the big, much touted coming out issue, even though it really wasn't.
No, it was a little bit more like clickbaity than what it actually was. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, obviously they made a big deal about it in the media and at the big DC fandom event show and everything, but in truth, it is a small part of a thing that happens in a much bigger story.
Yeah. I kind of knew it was going to be that. It kind of felt like that's what it was going to be, and we'll get like another issue later on where that actual story is picked up. Yeah.
Eric Santi helping us out. Has everyone who went to Substack except Hickman Zdarsky dropping the ball on final stories? I don't think I'm reading all of them. I mean, Inferno is still great.
Yeah, Inferno's really damn good. Zdarsky's Daredevil has never been better.
Still one of the best, and will probably keep continuing. And Zdarsky's doing multiple other books too, although I get the feeling I didn't like Justice League Last Ride as much as you did.
Yeah, I love that book. I thought that was great.
Yeah, it looked nice. I felt it was a little, a bit of a slog in the middle. But then again, I haven't read the last 2 issues, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, God, read them last 2 issues.
I'll have to check back into it then. But yeah, so this was the big issue there. It's the fallout. Jonathan got pelted by solar flares by Henry Bendix, and his powers are, going crazy now. They're running amok.
Yeah, and I like that immediately he's like, wait, I'm not going to let these powers overwhelm me like Henry Bendix wants them to. I'm going to use this extra energy to help everyone on Earth.
Yeah, again, it kind of lets Jonathan, feel his father's position there, being like, oh, so this is what it's like hearing every person on Earth crying out for help at the same time.
Yeah, and he thinks now that his powers are overcharged, he can actually do something about it all. Mm-hmm. And he does a pretty good job of it, every now and then, except obviously he's helping all these people while also trying to contain his overcharged powers, which means he's burning out quicker.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea, actually, from Bendix's part, because it's like, yeah, you hear all the suffering in the world now, which means you're going to be so busy helping, people drowning in Luxembourg and, children going missing in Costa Rica. You won't be fucking with me or what I'm doing.
No.
It's actually a pretty genius idea. Like, yeah, I could shoot you with a big laser and try and kill you, but this way, I'm going to weaponize your own goodness against you, where you're going to burn yourself out and maybe die of exhaustion trying to help everybody.
Yeah, or in this case, actually injure someone while saving them and be filmed doing it.
Which brings up an interesting idea too that Jay mentions later, where it's like, yeah, people have this unspoken social contract with Superman where, he saves people, but he also looks good doing it and indestructible doing it. And if people see Superman slipping and fucking up, that's going to terrify everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to drive everyone crazy. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. But yeah, it's like, imagine if God was real and God was having a real bad day, how that might affect you.
Yeah, it'd be pretty terrifying.
It would be. It would absolutely be terrifying. And they even bring up some interesting ideas, too, about, John's physiology and how it may react to the solar flare as opposed to how it reacted to his father. Because normally if Superman did a solar flare, it'd be a big, last-ditch effort attack. But then he'd be brought so low, he'd be human and killable for, 24 hours.
Yeah.
They don't really answer that question here, but I feel like that's an idea they're going to bring back later, what that could mean to John with his, human Kryptonian, physiology.
Yeah, does his cells, process it, better? Does he still become human, but it's, half the time of his father because he's half human already?
Yeah. As they say, he is the only dual human Kryptonian in all of existence, so they have no base of reference for any of this.
Yeah.
which is a hell of an idea. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess everything they do with him is new. And from a writing standpoint, that also means that you can write what you want and
Hmm.
not like be contradicting
Yeah, there's
anything.
no rules to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's new. Yeah, it's new. It's different. In
Yeah.
fact, it already feels like Taylor's taken a different approach to this than they were in the Future State John book.
Hmm. There's elements of that Future State book in this with him, because in that Future State book this sort of stuff happens. He gets overcharged with his powers, but in that book it was from a bunch of Brazilian gods fucking with the sun, whereas in this book it's Henry Bendix.
Tevi in the chat, how does Jay Nakamura know John can't just have human, have Kryptonian? Yeah, it's like he went home with him and met his fucking human mother or something.
Yeah.
Tevye.
Stuff that happened in the last 4 issues.
I swear, Tevye, you get so upset about stuff you forget things that happened 5 seconds ago. But yeah, so the big moment comes there. Oh, yeah, we learn a little bit more about Jay's power because, yeah, he's a post-human too, like everyone else from Gamora. He has Shadowcat powers. He can phase through shit.
Yeah, and it means that he can't be hurt by anything, which...
Yeah.
And there's this great moment where John, he's worried that, like, about everyone needs saving. Everyone, he needs to be able to be everywhere at once to save everyone. And Jay says, you don't have to save everyone because I can't be hurt by anything. So I'm the one person you don't need to save.
Yeah, which is a beautiful sentiment. And, you know, passions are getting all charged there because Jay basically takes care of John at the end of this and is like, look, if you keep doing this, you're going to kill yourself. You know, you're so busy trying to protect the world. Let someone protect you for a minute. And then they have their little kiss there. And it's funny because they play it like even they were surprised that it happened. Like, they're like, oh, shit, did we really just
Yeah, it
do
was
that?
like a spur of the moment sort of thing. But what was really interesting is just before the kiss that there's like the panel of Jay, and the background looks very sort of hypnotic. Sort of like it's like these swirling circle sort of thing, and it's like, I wonder if that's like, again, it fed into my whole thing was like Jay is actually fucking ultra humanite fucking with John.
Exactly. That's your big theory. One. I think he's Bendix's kid. I think that's going to be the thing. It's going to tie into the bigger theme of, you know, living up to father's ideas for us. You know, John has to, you know, live in the boots of his father and do good. Jay had to leave Gamora to get away from his father, which is the reason that Bendix hasn't killed him yet, even though Bendix has killed everyone who's crossed him.
Yeah, and it's why he set up the truth to like have a go at Gamora and everything.
Yeah, fight his dad from the shadows and everything. I think that's going to be the revelation. Like, ooh, like maybe he was the first post-human he experimented on or something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
I think that we could both be wrong, but I think that would be an interesting twist for it. And also, too, Jay learns a very important lesson when it comes to dating any super person. Oh, yeah, that was nice and good and everything. We can't talk about this because there's a liquor store getting robbed 6 blocks away.
Yeah, I have to go at a moment's notice.
Bye. And it's like, yeah, that's every person who's ever dated a super person. See how normal it is for everyone? They keep doing this. But yeah, this was solid. And I wonder if they didn't do the big media blitz, how fans would have reacted to this when it happened. Because I feel like originally that was Taylor's plan, where it's like, yeah, this is just going to happen in the story, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not really a big thing in the issue. It happens on like the second last page, and then it just immediately cuts back into like other stuff. It was like a sort of spur of the moment sort of thing.
Very spur of the moment, which is cool in its own right. Where it's like, yeah, you know, you can do this and treat it like a normal thing, and it doesn't have to be the focal point of it. It's just a thing that happens. Well, John has admittedly a very, very traditional Superman story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of trying to save everyone in the world, but burning the candles at both ends and, you know, almost hurting himself, which I think also is, you know, a really strong character thing for John, where it's like, yeah, if Jay didn't stop him, he happily would have like worked himself to death. Yeah,
pretty much. Again, that's a very Superman thing to do.
Very, very much so. But yeah, so that was Son of Kal-El. Pretty cool. Taylor continues to do good work on that.
Yeah.
And it didn't have to touch an event, unlike Nightwing, so it didn't get stopped up.
No.
Now I had 2 more, and they were both Marvel ones. What about you?
Ooh, I had 3 more.
Okay. Where would you like to go?
Well, I had Suicide Squad issue 9.
Oh shit, you got to read this before I did.
Yeah, I actually caught up. I was behind. I had to read like the annual and issues 7 and 8 as well.
It's been
But
real good, hasn't it?
it's been really fucking good. Yeah. So obviously they went to Hell last
Sure did.
issue and fought the Hell Squad and all that sort of stuff.
Great concept.
So now they're actually going to space.
Yeah, because where do you go after hell but to space?
Yeah, so in that last issue, obviously Waller got like the shield from the Rock of Eternity to protect against interdimensional attacks, and now they need something to protect them from physical attacks. So they go to Oa.
Nice.
Which, thanks to the recent events in the Green Lantern book, is nothing but a wasteland because the central power battery blew up.
So much continuity in this Suicide Squad book too.
So so they're able to like sort of sneak in without anyone noticing them and everything. Obviously, like the team is still reeling from the fact that like obviously their Superboy was Match, and Match is still dealing with all that shit. Ambush Bug is still on the team, and obviously knows what's going to happen because he breaks the fourth wall and realizes they're in the comics and stuff. Major Force is still on the team as well, and just fucking hates everyone and tries to like murder everyone at every chance he can get.
Great use of Major Force.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Calibra is a zombie now.
Oh yeah, that's right. She died, and Waller's like, "Yeah, I brought you back with Lazarus resin, which keeps making the rounds in all of these books."
Yeah. Even in death, you can't escape the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I have a fucking zombie squad. That's one of the things I have in my back pocket.
Yeah, they end up infiltrating the science cells because there is a person there that they need to get, and it's this weird. His name is Yorick, and he's like this. He looks like Khonshu. He's like this. He looks like Khonshu in a spacesuit. And he's like some villain who like longs to like commit more acts of evil, so they're like, oh yeah, we'll recruit you, and he's going to be doing something that will allow them to protect from physical invasions, but that might be like put on the back burner because they all return to the ship and it's immediately attacked by Thanagarian soldiers and blown up.
Yes, you're right. I remember this now. I went going through it. I'm like, oh, Thanagarians. We haven't seen them in a bit.
Yeah. They were involved in the Green Lantern book because they were there when the central power battery died because it was like some big conference that was happening and whatnot. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And they ended up also fighting the Green Lantern Joe Mullen from Far Sector, who turned up to try and arrest them for being on Oa, and they ended up fighting her for a very brief moment before Nocturna used her powers on like a giant Cthulhu monster to get the Cthulhu monster to fight her and distract her. Yeah.
That,
pretty damn cool issue. It was a pretty damn cool issue, and full of violence and action and everything, and again more
comedy,
more great team moments and stuff. I'm just really looking forward to going back and finding out what the fuck like Rick Flag's up to. With his team involving like Zod's son and Cheetah and Fisherman and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Rick Flag doing an anti-Suicide Squad to fight Waller, which is another one of those no-brainer ideas where it's like, how have you not done this before?
Yeah, and not only that, but like, in this issue, Talon reveals to Calibra that he's not crazy. And he's like, when the moment comes, you're gonna help me and Dr. Rodriguez escape Waller, and we're gonna fuck Waller over.
I mean, I guess that's loyalty amongst zombies, because being a Talon, he's also technically a zombie.
Yeah, and I think as well as like Calibra, because she's still dealing with the fact that she died and went to hell, so she's like, oh, I guess I am a bad person.
I loved that moment where she dies in hell, and it's like, what happens when you die in hell? Oh, well, you just come back in hell.
Yeah.
It's like, crap, I didn't think I was hell bad.
You just respawn in hell, yeah.
And then it's like, well, what happens if you die in hell again? Do you just go forever?
You go to hell's hell.
Yeah, double hell. It's like regular hell, but worse. Yeah, that Suicide Squad book is great and like feels so much like classic Suicide Squad stories because it's like not aping off any of the movies at all now.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see like after that Tom Taylor run, which was so good. It's like, what do you do after that? And it's like, oh, we'll just like team up all these weird and wonderful new characters and just like send them to space and hell and like virtual dimensions and
you go back to basics basically.
Yeah.
and it's really sold. And also, it's like, is this the best Match story ever told? I believe
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Never did I think someone would bring back frickin' Match and have it be good.
Yeah, I know, right?
And to like actually have him be really tragic and really sad.
I
and
know,
everything.
yeah. He's great. He's fantastic.
And to actually have it be like a story starring supervillains, but have it be about heroism, like they all want to protect Match because he believed he was a Superman once before, and if he believes it again, he can save them all.
Yeah, I think it was in the last issue. Ambush Bug makes like a great point of that, where it's like, wait, what's this? It's like actual like character development in a Suicide Squad book. Wait, what?
Rarely happens. And also, it's kind of fucked up, too, because it's like, but that's also what Waller wants, too, as we saw in Future State. She wants Match to become her Superman of her Conquered Earth 3.
Yeah, yeah. So he's in, like, a difficult position.
Very, very difficult position. I love it. Also, just Waller being a straight-up bad guy now. Just like before she was morally gray, now she's like, fuck it, now I'm just bad.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. It's great her being a villain, an actual villain for once, and not apologizing for it either.
No, or being like, I did it for the greater good.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm doing it because I'm fucking villain. I'm going to rule the fucking Earth, and it's not going to be Prime Earth, but it's going to be an Earth.
I'm going to save Unearth one way or another. From there, I guess another one we can talk about is I read Amazing Spider-Man 78 Point Beyond. This is one of the big Point Beyond books that they're having. They're going to have a bunch of special tie-ins.
Yeah.
This did you read this one?
I haven't read this. I'm like an issue behind. I did flick through the issue before it where they like capture Morbius and everything and like cut him up and whatnot.
Well, this one, living up to the Beyond name, this one actually isn't about Ben Reilly at all. It's all about the Daughters of the Dragon.
Yeah, well, I think that's what those issues are going to be. They're all going to be about like the characters around Ben Reilly.
Yeah, Miles is going to be getting one. That's the one everyone's excited for.
Mm-hmm.
This one was from Jed MacKay, who's doing Moon Knight and doing Black Hat. This feels so much like a backdoor pilot for a Daughters of the Dragon book that I'm sure Jed MacKay would love to write.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, it starts with Colleen and Misty. They're helping Ben Reilly train, because in an interesting twist, this Spider-Man has to actually train. He doesn't have, like years of experience under his belt the way Peter does.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they're putting him through, really putting him through the ringer there. Colleen created a training protocol a la Cerebro called the Avengers Murder Mansion.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like a video game, and Ben has to go through it, and he has to fight mashups of Avengers and famous slashers. So there's Captain America Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Jason Voorhees Iron Man, and Freddy Krueger Giant Man.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you can tell the artist was having a blast getting to, design these things. And, of course, through a series of chicanery and bullshit, the simulation becomes real, and Misty and Colleen have to fight their way out of it.
Yeah. Is it like... is it explained how that happens, or is it like...
Yes.
Is it implied that, like, maybe what's her name was behind it? The one from the Beyond... what's her name? Danger...
Maxine Danger.
Yeah.
Well, she's involved in it because here's the thing. It's like, so it involves like some alien chicanery. The idea is that the simulation is based on old Shi'ar tech, and Maxine Danger
that's definitely good. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. She sends them to go deal with this alien that's wrecking up the city, and Colleen and Misty are like, why should we? We're only contracted to, help out Spider-Man, not do your dirty work. And she's like, oh, well, I assumed you would want to protect human life, and also I got you a souped up fucking Starsky and Hutch muscle car to take you there.
Nice.
And they're like, we'll do it for the car. And so like the alien's heart ends up making the simulation real, and Maxine wants the heart for herself because it's an alien power source. But of course, Misty and Colleen don't do it because they know Maxine is evil, and they're actively trying to bring the company down from the inside because they're working with Spectrum.
Yeah, nice.
Who, of course, worked for Beyond once before in the old Warren Ellis series, so, nice connective tissue. But you already knew that if you read the last Spider-Man issue, so you don't really learn anything new reading this issue.
Just filling in the gaps, yeah.
It's filling in the gaps. It's Jed MacKay being like, hey, I'd totally write a Daughters of the Dragon series if you let me. It's all fun, if a little unnecessary in parts.
Okay.
It does beg the bigger question, though. If Colleen and Misty know that Maxine is bad and are actively working to try and undermine her, why don't they bring Ben in on it? Why don't they trust him?
I'm sure we'll get a reason why.
I'm sure we will. My working theory is Ben just has more to lose because they gave him an apartment and this big important job, and they got his girlfriend out of jail, and they're
Yeah.
giving him therapy and everything.
Well, and again, they're kind of holding Janine like hostage in a way.
They are, yeah.
Where it's like, if you don't do this, we can throw her back in prison or like throw her onto the street, and she won't be safe or anything.
Yeah, because you're a Spider-Man, and bad things happen to women who love Spider-Man.
Yeah. Again, they have his identity like hostage as well.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ben's almost kind of like a prisoner too in this, isn't he? When you stop and think about it.
Yep.
Because he made this devil's deal and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting enough. Again, I think the Miles one's going to be the big important one when he finally comes a knock and it's like, hey, so you own the trademark on Spider-Man, but I'm Spider-Man too. So what does that mean for me? Are you going to sue me? I think they are, actually. I think they're going to send him a cease and desist letter.
Oh, God.
And then I'm sure Miles is going to show up and be like, the fuck is this? Which, again, have the real Ben and Miles met? I know in Spider-Verse there was like a bunch of multiversal shenanigans and they met, but like have the real ones met before? I guess they'll have to explain that.
Yeah. Maybe I don't think so.
Because there was a Ben who died in one of the Spider-Verse sequels, but was that the real one or was that a multiversal one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they'll have to explain that.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's what that issue can be about when they do it.
Yeah.
And I had one last one from this week, and it was Dark Ages.
Yeah, I had that one as well.
Yeah, so, man, real Quicksilver heavy story. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, we get a focus on Quicksilver after the heroes find out that Tony Stark was kidnapped by Apocalypse, and
yeah,
they want to go find him. So instead of getting all their forces and invading Paris, they decide to send Quicksilver in.
I do like that it's a debate and everyone's like, well, we've lived so peaceful for so long. We've had to live and let live with Apocalypse. Do we really want to start war for all of our children? And then, of course, Dr. Doom is there.
The self-preservation. No, we got to fucking nip this in the bud.
It's so great because I know some people complain, like, why is Dr. Doom even living with the bad guys now? And I'm like, oh, this is why. So he can, lord being smarter over them and talk mad shit about them all the time.
Well, not only that, he basically explains that this issue. It's like, no, this is self-preservation. Like, I don't care for like all the peace that T'Challa is building and everything. Living here is safe for me. I can do my evil science shit and whatnot.
Magic, I assume, because he looked more magic now.
Yeah.
Because Doom could always do both. And he's like, well, I'll throw out the science book and take up the magic book, I guess. Which, yeah, it's very fun, too, because there kind of seems to be this subtext running throughout this issue, and that is, like, have the heroes gotten too complacent? Has peacetime made them too bloated and too soft? And we see this in the Human Torch, who's like, kids, I used to be strong enough to melt Galactus when I flamed on. Now I'm just heating up teapots in the park is what I'm doing.
Yeah, for tea parties.
Yeah, which is amazing, though. It's like, now, Johnny, would you like a stuffed elephant? Well, yeah. Of course I do. If I'm drinking tea, I have to have the stuffed elephant with me as well. Which, it's this cute scene, but it's also like, yeah, you guys were enjoying peacetime and having kids and raising families. Apocalypse never stopped. Apocalypse never slept.
No.
Which, again, it's kind of like a Wild West thing that it's like, do you pick up your old guns? Do you pick up the ways of war again?
Yeah.
And I mean, they should, because when Quicksilver makes it to Apocalypse's thing, it's like, oh no, he's ensnared some of our greatest minds and thinkers, and like, oh no, my daddy's a battery now. I'll save you, Magneto Daddy. Oh no.
Yeah, and he ends up getting knocked out, and Apocalypse doesn't want him imprisoned or killed, and instead has the Purple Man actually become useful and infect Pietro and send him back to T'Challa and all that, and unleash a mind compromised Quicksilver onto the heroes, and he ends up killing Okoye and using a spear to kill Johnny Storm.
Turns him into a human suicide bomb, basically. And it's funny. All I could think to myself was like, and this is why the superhero community doesn't rely on Quicksilver for anything. he sees a machine that has his like god level powerful father tied up, and it's like, I'm gonna touch the machine. Oh no, Pietro, you really bonered this one up, didn't ya? Well, at least things can't get any worse. Oh, they got worse.
Oh, I've been mind controlled, and then I have my legs burnt off.
Yeah, by the Human Torch, which again, keeping with that thing, it's like Jean can turn off his brain, but it's going to take a whole second. How much damage can he do in a second? A lot.
A fucking lot, yeah.
A second is an eternity when you're a super speedster, and Johnny ends up paying the price. And again, this idea where it's like, if I was younger, if I was faster, maybe I could have flamed on quicker.
Yeah, again, in the same year, Johnny Storm has died twice. He died here and he died in Life Story.
Poor bastard.
in sort of kind of the same way, where like his powers like actually end up getting the better of him and end up like snuffing him out.
Man just cannot catch a break, can he? So, now the heroes are like, well, fuck, we got no choice now. We really got to go to Apocalypse's turf and take the fight to him. But, of course, Apocalypse planned for this, and he has at least 3 of his 4 horsemen ready to go.
Yeah, he's got the Miles Morales Venom on the ready for the hunt.
Which is super cool, which also begs the question, okay, so if Miles is one of the horsemen, who are the other ones, and also why is he talking about 3? Is there a mystery 4th we don't know about?
Yeah, well, I assume just from, like, because I didn't realize that was the Miles Morales Venom. I thought it might have been, like, because it's, like, the red and the black, and I thought it's like, it's, like, Carnage and Venom, like, joined together
Fused
now?
together, yeah.
Like, maybe that's it. Maybe it's Carnage, Venom, and Miles.
Maybe he got all the suits in once.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you 3. So if he's saying 3, is he not talking about 3 horsemen? Is he talking to him specifically because there's 3 guys in there?
Yeah, they're his 3 horsemen. They're one person.
Fun. Oh, that's fun.
That could be
3
it.
of the 4 are one person. Oh, that's a Tom Taylor idea. What if 3 of the 4 horsemen were that? And again, if the 4th is a mystery, I'm going to say Franklin Richards, because they make a point of saying that they thought Franklin Richards died.
We don't see him.
But that Quicksilver didn't see him.
And if they continue on the fact that Franklin Richards is... Because this is obviously not in continuity with anything else. He would technically still be a mutant. So, of course, Apocalypse would want him
on his side.
His side, yeah.
Also, too, Franklin Richards is one of those characters with all the amazing power. It's like, shouldn't he be able to put the Earth back? Isn't he like a god?
Again, that could be part of Apocalypse's plan.
Yeah, where it's like, so I had to make him one of my horsemen.
Yeah.
I made him Horseman Death because, of course, he's got to be the big bad one. Isn't that always the way? I made him Horseman War to keep him under control, but then I'm keeping him in the back, though, because, even I, Apocalypse, fear his power.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. So yeah, Dark Ages is cool. This issue felt kind of brief because ironically it was about a speedster, so it moved really fucking fast.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. It's very fast paced.
Yeah, very fast paced. Really no room to breathe. But yeah, Dark Ages continues to be super fucking cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was all the books I read. Did you have one last one?
I had one last one, and that was Eternals Celestia issue 1.
Ah, yes, yeah, the Eternals. They're big in these streets. They're big in the hood right now.
Yeah, this was a one-off issue that actually had a lot more implications than I think everyone is unaware of. So we in the main Eternal series, we haven't really seen what Ajax is up to. Right. And this issue explains it. And obviously, in the Eternals, Ajax was the person who could talk with Celestials and all that, and relay information between the Celestials and the Eternals and people and everything. So, like, how is she dealing with the fact that her gods abandoned them and just left them, and the truth behind the Eternals and everything? And the answer is not very good. She's sulking. At Celestia, which is a city that I think the Aztecs built, it's basically a giant throne for a Celestial.
Oh, cool.
Makari turns up, and Makari as well has this great sort of connective tissue with her, where she was sort of a prophet for the dreaming Celestial.
Right.
which was a thing that happened, and she was like a prophet for that, and like herald it's coming. But then that didn't happen because a bunch of X-Men villains got a hold of the Dreaming Celestial and cut it up to make cloning technology.
Oops.
So because none of her prophecies came true, she's seen as a heretic.
Mm.
And both of these women decide they're going to go on a pilgrimage to Avengers Mountain, because that's like the last celestial on Earth.
As we know from the Jason Aaron run, is built in the body of a Celestial.
Yeah. So they decide to walk the Earth, and Makari is kind of frustrated because she's a speedster, yet she's being made to walk. She doesn't really understand the concept of a pilgrimage. So Ajax is teaching her that, and then while she's being taught that, Makari is talking to her about like, hey, maybe like we can change what our gods are, and she has this great sort of connective tissue to Frankenstein, where she read the book when it first came out like 40 times in 40 seconds, and it got her thinking. It's like, why don't we build our god again into what we want it to be? And she puts that forth to Ajax because that's what she wants to do. And Ajax like, I don't know, maybe this is all just some sort of test, and the gods have disappeared to test our faith and all that stuff. We also get to see Ajax's relationship with the Avengers 1 million team.
Oh, right, because now would be the time for it.
Yeah, she came to Earth and met them, and they immediately violently killed her because they thought she was a threat, and because they're all, literal cavemen. They thought some woman descending from the sky, talking about Eternals and Celestials is the next big villain.
And also all the way back when the Avengers BC, they fought the original first host back in the day.
Final host, yeah.
Yeah, so like obviously they have all the reason in the world to distrust anything celestial.
Yeah, so they arrive at the Avengers Mountain, and Ajax isn't happy with what the Avengers are literally living in the body of their god. She sees that as like the worst sin ever. And Robbie Reyes comes out and says, "Hey, the Celestials actually talked to me and said this was okay.
That's right. I forgot about that.
This is like their gift to them," and that basically makes Ajax crazy because she's like, how can my gods not talk to me but talk to this person? Like
this guy from Southeast Los Angeles.
Yeah. This guy who drives a fucking muscle car and wears a leather jacket. So she's having like a crisis of faith, but she still thinks this is all a test. She thinks they're all testing us, and she ends up getting into a fight with Makari, and they end up going their separate ways, and it's left with Ajax planning a war against the Avengers and planning to try and get revenge on the Avengers for what they have done to their celestial gods.
Well, shit. That sounds bad.
Yeah. A little bad.
It's going to be a problem. Going to be a big old problem.
Yeah, so I'm not sure when that's going to happen. I imagine Jason Aaron will be doing that very soon.
I imagine that will probably be Jason Aaron's last story, because it started with Celestials and it'll end with Celestials.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
Probably. Didn't they also say that, Valkyrie and Namor are going to be joining the team too?
I think so, yeah.
So there you go. Everyone in the pool for the big Eternal War.
Namor is kind of interesting because he spent the last like 40 odd issues just like shitting on the Avengers every chance he can get.
Yeah, he's been the big villain. He started his own Defenders of the Deep. Yeah, well, but when the Earth gets invaded by Celestials and shit, that'll get him on their side good and quick.
Yeah, that's true.
Namor's good in a pitch when we're all gonna die, though.
Maybe he's still salty about not getting the Phoenix Force, and this is him getting some sort of revenge.
Yeah, take that, you fucking space shit. Fight me in the water, you big dumb space idiots. I'll get you. When's my movie? When's the Namor movie?
It's coming.
Yeah. Oh, one of these days, Isn't Namor still tied up in Universal like Hulk?
I don't know, but there's rumors that he's in the new Black Panther film.
Interesting. Well, he would be a good foil. Atlantis versus Wakanda has been good stuff in the comics.
Yeah.
Get a fun actor to play him.
Yeah, I don't know who you'd get to play someone like him. Just get Jason Momoa to come over and
fuck it, why not? Greatest steal in history. I think they should get someone like international, like an actor who's like really big in India or Korea who we don't know about.
Yeah, I think like an Asian actor.
Yeah, you can do some really fun like colorblind cast there. Who was the bad guy in like the third Doom movie who looks like he was, chiseled out of granite? What about that guy?
Oh, what is his name? I know the guy you're talking about.
With eyes that stare into your soul, where it's just like, we found a very handsome man to be the villain in our movie. That's what we'll get. We'll get one handsome man to be Namor. Because let's face it, this is a guy who's been talking about seducing Sue Richards forever. So you got to get a handsome man. Just a guy who's 90% oil and abs.
And he can fight Harry Styles as Galaxy's greatest sex pervert, Eros.
There you go. That's a whole movie right there. The match you've been waiting for. The Battle of the Sex Perverts. Coming soon to a theater near you. Bring the kids. Bring grandma. Bring everybody. Well, geez, I didn't think I wanted to see this story, but that oily fish man and Harry Styles are going to fight it out, so I guess we got to see where this is going. Oh, man. And on that note, everyone, I think we're just about at the limit for show, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, everyone, for coming and hanging out and everything. We hope you appreciated watching it as much as Matt and I enjoyed doing it. As I promised, next week, we're going to do something a little different. You're still going to get a show, but we're going to experiment with the format. I don't know how long it's going to be, and also I'm going to give Matt a break at the end of the month, and I'm going to handle the recording and editing part of that, and if it works, maybe we'll start doing them live as well.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Yeah, I know, right? With nothing to do. Well, don't worry. I'll have a bunch of stuff for you to work off of and keep track of. It's actually going to be a throwback to the way we used to do group reviews back in the day, back at Name Redacted, I think. So that'll be interesting. So thank you, everyone, for coming there. As always, if you're a patron, you'll get to see the video both in audio and visual format before anyone else for as little as $1 a month over on Patreon. Becoming a patron is a great way to help us out. Another way you can help us out is use the Amazon link down in the description. Buy whatever. It helps in some ways. I'm always surprised when Amazon gives me some money instead of the other way around.
Yeah, the Christmas is coming up. Is Black Friday's coming up, or is that been and gone? I don't know. We don't really celebrate that here.
No, we don't either. Black Friday, the day after American Thanksgiving. Did American Thanksgiving come and go? I know Canadian Thanksgiving came and went.
I want to say no, because like my feeds on like social media haven't been bombarded with like turkeys and stuff like that. I want to say it's coming up.
Again, my own international ignorance. I thought American Thanksgiving was closer to Halloween because like Americans have a real like holiday clusterfuck where like from Halloween onwards it never stops.
Yeah, there's like a new holiday every weekend.
Every week. Oh, November 25th, so it's at the end of the month.
This end of this week, yeah.
So it's coming soon. So yes, then it's Black Friday. So yes, get yourself something nice. Using the Comic Multiverse Amazon link for all your Black Friday shopping needs. You can do that. Use the promo code Cape Joel for 10% off your Wild Bill soda, delicious craft soda just for you. And also, they haven't sent me the thing yet, but we're also going to be teaming for the month of December with Esker wallets as well. So I'm going to have a link for all of that, and Matt and I are going to do some fun ad reads for that as well. Is
that those like little RFID like?
Yes.
Well, it's like this one that I already have. It's not an Esker. It's not an Esker one, but I think if it's similar to the one that you're talking about.
Yes, it's like the little stealth wallets where it's like, hey, don't tie yourself down with a big wallet. Yes,
yeah, well, if it's like the one I've got, they're really fucking awesome.
Cool. Then yes, they still need to send me one to work off in the mail, but when I get it, we're going to be talking all about Esker wallets and what they can do for you. The perfect gift for dad, for big brother, for boss, for anybody, really. As we're going to find out. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, for coming and hanging out. We're going to be back again next week.
Yeah, everyone enjoys Black Friday and everything that goes with that. Don't go, what is it? Don't stampede everyone at the shops. Actually do, because I like watching those videos.
I was going to say, if you do, though, make sure someone is filming, though, and it will make the compilation reels. Don't trample people for no reason. Trample them for content, is all we're saying. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.